sex with a 14-year-old girl and we pay $10 million. And the money will go to a mutual fund that will pay out when she's 21. The girl agrees, as do both of her parents. Should this be allowed? And are you male or female?
Jesus Christ, man. Well, I'm not a white girl named Ayala, so the answer is no, absolutely not.
Ayala's kind of fire with it, though. Let's be honest.
That bitch is out of her fucking.
Oh, she's totally fucking nuts, dude. Oh yeah, completely.
I've never seen a more insane online personality. I'll even throw Christian into that mix because she knows what she's doing.
I wish I could go. Here's the thing, like, I feel bad. I kind of understand where Ayala's coming from on that one because she was like molested as a child, so it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess like,
yeah. So I may as well get something for it. I guess I'd be in
the same position now, so yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
So like, I get that. I mean, that makes sense.
I kind of understand, but at the same time, lady, like just try to calm the fuck down.
One thing I will say,
that's not possible for her.
I do like the way that it suggests that like Epstein wants to have sex with a 14-year-old, and it'll pay out when she's 21.
Yeah.
Like, why not 18?
Oh, I'm assuming because it's drinking age, but sure.
Yeah, but like, why would that make a difference? Like, you're you're gonna get so fucking messed up.
Yeah.
Like when you get like, yeah, why not? Like, I mean, I guess if you're gonna talk about like 14 versus 18, like, I mean, it's not even like once she graduates college. It's like once she turns 21. That's so weird to me. I don't know what
it is. Why would that even occur to you to ask as a question?
Oh, about the 21 thing?
Yeah. That Richard Hanania guy is just he's the fucking freak. The only like pro-Zionist Palestinian American I think I've ever seen.
He's the reason watch lists exist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh wait, he's Palestinian.
Yeah, his background is Palestinian.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I will say, it does go to prove that, like, trying to do this all being, like, white versus black or, like, trying to do this, like, Israelis or white thing, it's really going to explain Richard Hanania.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, too. Yeah, and I kind of fell into this trap. I mean, not exactly. I think people just kind of interpreted it a certain way. Which was me saying to people, like, well, okay, so why is it that why do people deserve an ethno state? Like, why do Israelis deserve an ethno state? Right? And it was just like, if black people could go through, the hundreds of years of slavery and Jim Crow, go through all the kinds of oppression that we have, which I'm sorry, like, I don't like to do the oppression Olympics, but let's be perfectly honest, I think we had it a little bit worse than they did. If we could go through all that.
Yeah, well, both of you had it better than the Irish, so we all know.
If we could go through all that, and then at the end of it all, after emancipation, did we try to get it back in blood? No.
Well, hold on. Have you considered getting you and 4 of your friends together to show up in someone's room?
Hold off on that. Hold off on that for a minute. Hold off on that for just a minute. I was like, if we could go through all of that and then not get it back in blood after emancipation, then why do you get an ethno state? And then I made them. Actually, it wasn't even a mistake because I fucking stand 10 toes down on it. My thought was, because this was a person that was saying to me like, oh, like America is not very safe for Jews. And I'm just like,
which is like, dude, if you're unsafe in America as a Jew, like, I'm sorry, you're unsafe. You're gonna be unsafe.
You're gonna be unsafe anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, like you're certainly much more safe in America as a Jew than like in the tip of the Mina spear, where supposedly if you don't have multi-billion-dollar defense systems provided to you at the ready, at the expense of the American taxpayer, then you're just going to be obliterated.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I was like, like, why do you deserve a homeland? Like, no, your homeland is. I said your homeland is Philadelphia, where your parents are from. People took it to mean that I think all Jews come from Philadelphia. Like,
well, they do. It's like reverse Mormonism. where it's like they spent like 40 years in a way, the ocean is a lot like a desert made of water. If you think about it. So yeah, like they sailed from Philadelphia to they sailed from Philadelphia over to the Middle East, and that's where they formed. Yeah, like I said, reverse Mormonism.
Mhm.
But have you considered? Have you ever asked yourself why are lower classes and dysfunctional people so obsessed with pedophilia?
Yeah.
Because they have low IQs or something like that. They need someone to like
They
push down on.
well, maybe there are two reasons. First, they have low IQs, so they can't understand statistical reasoning and how rare it is. Second, they feel like losers, and pedophiles are the one group society ranks lower.
Okay.
So they need to imagine they're fighting them everywhere. There's a horseshoe theory with QAnon and also crazy feminists and LGBTQ types, as I discuss here. Do I really want to go to Richard Hanania's website?
No.
No.
But you're going
No.
to anyway, aren't you?
Well, here,
What
hold
is
on.
wr-
Are you
Yeah.
sharing my screen right now?
I'm sharing your
how about-
screen right now.
Hitler, Demi Moore, and other pedophiles.
What?
Okay.
Dude, wait, is Demi Moore a pedophile?
I've never heard any allegations against Demi Moore.
It was Hitler? I mean, I guess that's probably like, to be honest, with Hitler, it's one of the lesser things that he's responsible for.
Yeah, I would say it's one of the lesser
Wait a minute.
evils.
Wait a minute, weren't women claiming a while back that he preyed on Eva Braun? Wasn't that a feminist take I saw going around a while back? I swear.
Yeah, Eva Braun was groomed.
Well, let me ask you a
Yes.
question. Let me ask you a question. Suppose that the Fuhrer of the Third Reich was interested in sleeping with, I don't know how old Eva Braun was when they met. 15, 16, or let's say 14.
Okay.
And her parents agreed, and she got to, when she was 21, she could go hang out in the Fuhrer bunker. Are you a man or a woman? Decide. Is that a problem?
I think it's actually one of the more problematic things that Hitler could be accused of.
Yeah, that's, again, like very, I don't know, very interesting question. Lot of really deep questions coming out of Richard here. I do really like the way that he's going with like Demi Moore, like that.
Okay, what in there? What does Demi Moore have to do with any of this?
Okay, hold on. In late December, a right-wing account with nearly 16,000 followers. Okay, so just some guy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to see how many followers he had, because I will say one thing is that right-wingers. Okay, he actually has a pretty good follower to following ratio, because some right-wingers have zero, like such terrible followers to following ratios. Like it's remarkable. But yeah, no, I mean, I guess they exposed a video of like Demi Moore making out with like a 15-year-old.
She was making out with a 15-year-old?
I guess.
I'd never heard about that.
I
mean, if that's true, this is the first time hearing about it. But if it's true, it does count. It counts.
Yeah, she like kissed him on the lips. It's kind of weird.
Was it like a romantic kiss, or was it like a peck on the lips?
No,
yeah, I heard making out here, so.
It looks like 2 pecks on the lips, so I don't know, man. It's kind of weird, but if this was just one stupid Twitter account with a lot of stupid followers, it would be one thing. But in 2017, Bill Maher was accused of defending pedophilia in the 1990s for speaking out against a teacher going to jail after having been impregnated by one of her students.
What? Okay, that does make him a bit of a... I don't know what it is that it makes him a pedo, but it certainly makes him an apologist. Was it the Mary Kay Letourneau lady?
Whoa. It looks... Yeah.
Mary Kay Letourneau?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who is defending that aged very poorly.
I admit it's unorthodox, Mayer said. She's 35, the boy is 14. He was younger when they started, but she is pregnant again. And that was the story this week. And this is the second child by this boy. They're keeping the mother in jail because she won't conform to what society feels should be the perfect American family.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no. I also like the way that like this all came out because he was like defending, or he like kicked Milo Yiannopoulos off his show. So yeah, no, I mean that's, I don't know, Richard Hanania. I do like the way that we're kind of like bringing back the idea of like pedophilia being like just a cool thing that rich people do. He's like, wow, are you lowbrow enough to condemn pedophiles? Like,
Yeah, if you don't have a certain amount in your bank account, you know.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
You cannot condemn pedophiles unless you are, you know.
I did all the right things. I worked hard. You know, I like got high scores on my SAT and my ACTs. You know, I scored some scholarships. My parents like put all the money that they had into my education. You know, I went to Georgetown, graduated with honors, got myself a nice little job at a hedge fund. You know, worked my way through. Started all the way from like cold phone calls, and now I'm a senior VP. So fuck it, I'm entitled to a little treat. What's a 15-year-old here or there? You know, I kind of feel like with all of the work that I put into this, with my working class background, you are just punching down on the disadvantaged. You know what I mean? You need someone to feel superior to.
I mean, no, it's not even that. It's like it's more just like, oh yeah, like if you're wealthy enough, it's like, no, like this is it's like eating really good fish or something, or like
it's beluga caviar. That's what it is.
Well, and I think that's why I honestly feel like that's why Donald Trump, like none of them could get on board with Donald Trump, because he definitely, I will say, of like all sexual proclivities, probably seemed like the least likely to be like that into pedophilia.
I don't think he was into that whatsoever. I think he was probably into like young model girls from Eastern Europe, which obviously Melania.
I don't even think he was into that. I think he was just like, I think that Donald Trump is just like, I don't even know, like models. Like he's just, it's like a woman with like a boob job. Like he has very like quotidian, like sexual tastes, I feel like.
Yeah. He seems like pretty vanilla. Like even look who jammed him up for a little while, and then she ended up like getting her lawyer incarcerated. What was her name? Stormy Daniels, the porn actress.
Yeah,
he got jammed up by a porn actress, and she was
the least sexy porn actress.
She looked like a department manager at like Target.
Yeah, no, like again. My theory that I guess it's not really my theory, but like the theory that Donald Trump is asexual stands. He's like Stormy Daniels, like that's
it kind of feels like something that you like have to do in order to look good, you know?
Yeah, it's like you're looking for
Look at her, she's gorgeous, isn't she gorgeous, folks? Stormy Daniels, she's very good. She's got the long gams.
It's like
is that what they say nowadays? The gams.
It's sort of like she's just a very like straightforward, like again, it's like if you imagine like in the 90s, like if you typed it to an AI like 90s porn actress, that's what would come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bland, there's like nothing to it. So yeah, no, it's interesting.
It's interesting.
Let's see what the numbers turned out. Oh, it does appear as if 81.5% of men are like no.
What do you mean? Oh yeah. The guys are just like absolutely not. I'm just gonna be blunt with you, dude. I think that guys actually have a stronger line on this, if anything. You know how the radical feminists like to.
We're gonna go to jail, and it's not just like normal jail, like the worst possible American jail you can go to.
Yeah.
Which is going to like normal American jail as a pedophile. Like you're going to
jail. Like, do you remember season one of True Detective?
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Yeah, remember when they were like investigating possible like church communities where somebody might have been a little bit too like into the young members. And so they go to visit this one sort of like revival tent church community. You know what I'm talking about? Like the Holy Rollers, the people that go out in the tents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they went to go investigate this one guy that had like been jailed on a sex crime. And so like when they went to go question him, the pastor says, well, he says to Russ Cole, he's like, I think if you talk to him one-on-one, you will understand why it couldn't have been him. And the guy that they were investigating, well, he was sent to prison for like public exposure and some other kind of like weird shit. Looked like he might have been a bit of a pervert, but possibly it was just due to his like low mental faculties. And yeah, Russ says after the interview and examination, he gets back in the car and says to Marty, yeah, it wasn't him. He says like they put him in prison in Angola. Angola is like one of the worst fucking prisons in the U.S. They put him in Angola in Gen Pop.
They sent him to the country Angola.
They put him in Gen Pop, and which he should have never been there. And some of the inmates got wind of what he was there for, and they castrated him. He says that, and they were very sloppy about it. And they took his balls. Right? It's just like you the guys generally like. Not only do you know
that is the longest setup for a very short payoff.
No. What I'm trying to say is like guys are pretty clear that if you go to like, first of all, you're gonna go to prison. That's not if or ands. Like you're gonna go to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And second, if you get in prison and people hear about that shit, it's not gonna go well for you. So I think guys have a pretty.
You're just gonna get like it's just gonna be American History X. Like
yeah.
Like it's gonna be like the last scene of what's that show? Or what's that movie with you're gonna be like the Elijah Wood character in like it's like based
Sin
on
City?
Sin City, yeah. You're just gonna be
yes.
You're just gonna get the shit kicked out of you every day. So like, most likely men are probably gonna have a firmer hand on this.
Elijah Wood actually got it pretty easy. I think you're gonna be like the Nick Stahl character. Remember the dude that he was called the Yellow Bastard?
Yeah, no, it was Nick Stahl's character, not
it was Nick Stahl's character.
Yeah, the Yellow Bastard,
I have not seen that movie in like 15 years, 16 years. So like
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. The dude that Bruce Willis, like, you know, so the first time they meet.
Yeah. The guy that gets beaten up at the end. The one scene.
Yeah. No, he rips the guy's balls off and then just like pounds his head into mush. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much. So that's what I'm saying is like you're not, as a guy, I think we have a stronger line on that. It's just like drilled into your head from you're very young. Like this, like there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I kind of find that, like, especially with the amount of like women teachers that end up having affairs with their students, I think it's a little bit less of a hard line for them. You know what I mean?
See, you just did it. I was gonna say, like,
what?
They're raping their students. They're not having affairs with their students.
Oh, listen to that! Holy smokes! You're right. That was a total femme-brained way to put it. You're absolutely right.
Yep, but that's the thing. Because it's framed.
Think about it like this. What if they were talking to their parents, and they said that they wanted to, have sex with their 14-year-old students, and they were willing to pay, well, maybe not $10 million because it's on a teacher
on a teacher salary. No.
Yeah, no.
Maybe like 500, 600, and it's going to go into like mutual fund.
Mutual
maybe.
Fund. Yeah,
it's gonna be in cryptocurrency. It's gonna be in Ethereum. I'm gonna give you a.
It's gonna be in like the worst shitcoin you ever heard of.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be an NFT of like
it's gonna be an NFT of like Naruto.
I feel like NFTs have like AI was the thing that really killed NFTs.
Yeah, I got yelled at by an NFT guy like a couple days ago.
Why? For saying
well, I mean, because I said that Hamas is putting the IDF in a blender.
Okay, well, so he's just like he's just an annoying guy that also.
I didn't know that NFT guys still existed. I thought they were all gone.
I mean, I think that they're probably like still. I think they're still around. Like, I mean,
there's a lot of people when the game of musical chairs ends for any like financial scam. There's always someone left holding the bag. So, but the problem is like you don't want to announce yourself. Like, if you were a guy that's got like an NFT profile picture, you were deliberately announcing yourself to the world as like the last one to get scammed in what was very obviously a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Although I will say, like,
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'm gonna pause you guys real quick. I'm noticing that there's just like not very many likes in our stream right now. I'm gonna need you all to hit that like button, or we're shutting down the studio. Okay? I'm like Didion making the band right now. We're shutting down the studio unless you all go out and get me a couple of bottles of Cambodian breast milk. If I don't see the like button being hit, we're shutting down the stream. We ain't doing this for nothing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rory.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, my bad.
Are we on Rumble or YouTube?
We're actually on both.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is fine. Here's the thing. I'm doing a little bit of A/B testing. I just want to see if anything happens to our YouTube stream when we use the exact same words that we do on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking like we're on Rumble, but I just want to see if anything happens to this particular stream.
Oakley dokley. So yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. No, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry to completely derail your train of thought. It's just that I was looking at both streams and I wasn't seeing likes.
I know what you were doing. All right.
Speaking of Hamas putting the IDF in a blender.
Oh boy, hang on a second. Okay, buddy. Hey, Rory, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this Merkava tank.
I mean, okay, so
its myriad weaknesses.
Well, look, I mean, every tank has weaknesses, right? I mean, we saw in Russia, obviously, the T-90. We actually haven't even seen the T-14, which I still find very funny. That was like the most, okay, I will say, yes, the Merkava does have a lot of hype around it. Does not beat the T-14 Armada's hype. That shit was so fucking insane in like the mid 2000s. Everybody was jizzing their pants about the Merkava. The Merkava's going to be, or not the Merkava, the T-14 Armada. Yeah. It's the greatest tank since the T-34. Oh my god, this is gonna change the world of tanks forever. And we still haven't seen a single one deployed in active combat in Ukraine.
I mean, every military has their boondoggle project, right? Like with the U.S. There's the F-35,
Well, at least the F-35 is being deployed in combat. I mean that
it's being deployed. It's also incredibly expensive to maintain, to repair. And there's there's any number of ways it can be foiled, not by like any action, but by simple like natural geological circumstance.
Oh well, here's the thing: fighter jets in general. I will say again, fighter jets in general, and any of that really high-end military equipment is very, very prone to like break, and it's very expensive to maintain, which is why But
I will say, there is one fighter jet where I think like the cost to benefit ratio, that is like how much it costs to produce, how much it costs to maintain and repair, the number of ways that it can be foiled by, again, like simple natural circumstance, like by it being a jet in the air. Versus its actual like combat capabilities, its benefits, and the F-22. I don't think that there's ever been such a like balanced, like with how much it costs to make, to maintain, versus like its capability in the field. I think the F-22 probably is the best fighter jet ever made.
Well, to be fair, it's also been around for 26 years.
Yeah.
So the thing is, well, here's the thing, and you have to remember.
I'm just looking up when it was introduced into combat. Okay, December 2005. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 20 years.
20 years. So the thing you have to remember about these like the costs of certain military equipment, pieces of military equipment, is it's all based off of how many are produced. So every new piece of military equipment is very expensive when it's first made because you're not selling that many of them, right? The F-22 or the F-35, it is a very expensive thing. I would actually say it was overly expensive. I think everybody agrees to that. But if it stays in service for 25 years and they manage to sell a lot of them because they're a fairly the same way that the F-16 or the F-22 are sold to a number of allied nations, the cost will go down like over time per unit. It's the same thing with the Leclerc tank is like the most expensive tank ever made, and it's like it's the most expensive tank ever made because a bunch of contracts that were supposed to go through ended up getting pulled during like the early 2010s. in like the Middle East. So like the French basically had to carry the full cost of the Leclerc. So if you actually like per unit, it's like $100 million for
Holy
that tank.
smokes! Holy smokes, man!
But the thing is, it's because like had they been sold off, it would have gone right down to like 7 to 8 million.
Yeah.
They just didn't sell any of them because like the contracts were pulled, and at the same time the Abrams was being produced. So I will say that the F-35 is actually not the biggest. It's the thing that people point to just because.
No, I don't think it's the biggest boondoggle. I never said anything like that. I'm just saying like every military has their boondoggles, right? So
yeah,
I think for Israel the Merkava was definitely.
Well,
I think it falls into that category.
So the Merkava is an interesting story. So the thing about the Merkava is when was it put into service? I think it was mid-70s, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to look this up. I'm gonna pull up the Wikipedia here, dude. This is I'm feeling really.
That's what we got Melanie for.
Operational since 1979. Okay, it's the original design created as a result of Israel's. Okay, so when the Merkava was first put in, right? It's actually a very interesting story because. Okay, here we go. We'll show this cool picture of the Mark I. So the thing you have to remember about Israel, like right now, it's considered like the wealthiest of all the Middle Eastern countries, right? Probably. It's the only one that hasn't been horribly torn apart by civil war or internal conflict or invasion. So it's got that going for it, which is nice. But even in the 70s, it was not a very wealthy country in terms of like global powers, right? Less wealthy than the United Kingdom, definitely less wealthy than either the USSR or the United States.
Yeah.
So they kind of had to make a lot of compromises when they were making the tank. And so they had to cut a lot of corners to produce an indigenous tank and to meet under cost. And one of the big ones was that they decided, look, we'll use the engine as armor, right? Essentially, we'll put the engine block in the front of the tank, as you can see here, this front part with the two sort of hooks on there. They put the engine up front. They put the fuel in front of the engine. And the idea behind that was that they would be able to add a little bit of extra armor. Now, that's maybe not the best idea. There's a reason why the Merkava tank is the only tank in the world that can be done. And it's because, one, it means that if you get hit with a frontal attack, your tank is just disabled. There's a really high chance the thing is going to get disabled very quickly. And then you're going to have to eject your troops out the back. You're going to have to scuttle it. The other problem... actually, hilariously, probably the fuel tank provides a little more defense even than the engine itself, just because liquids, especially like very thick liquids, have a tendency to
disperse force
very effectively.
Yeah.
So it had that going, but the bigger problem is that if the fuel leaks and if the fuel ever catches on fire, it can overheat the engine. Now there are examples of this happening. There is a active fire suppressant system on the Merkava, but it doesn't always work. Like pretty much every other piece of military equipment. I'll be completely honest with you. Like most pieces of military equipment don't work. Like I hate to say it, but they don't really work that effectively. Like. Especially something like that where it's like very complicated and very hard to do, or like it has a lot of moving parts. There's a very good tendency that it will, it'll fail to deploy, and in the Merkava tank does fairly frequently, right? So that's kind of the first issue. The other issue is what it's made out of. So if you look at the turret, let's see if I can find a better picture of a Merkava, a more modern Merkava, because that is the Mark I Merkava.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the first one that ever came out. Let's see. Really ideally, God, they're just freaking War Thunder. They really love.
Melanie, would you mind just looking up like for Like look up Mark IV Merkava.
Well, here I want to see a specific. This actually is one that I might be better to do, just because I want to make a specific point.
All right.
We'll share this one. Okay, so in the back, here's the most modern. I believe this is Mark IV. If it's either Mark III or Mark IV.
Yeah.
So the turret itself is actually made out of a single piece of homogeneous rolled steel, hardened homogeneous rolled steel, which is kind of what you want on a tank. The Abrams is made of homogeneous rolled steel. The T-90 is made of homogeneous rolled steel. I think pretty much all the Russian tanks are. But the Merkava itself, the actual body of the tank here, is made out of composite, which is lighter, cheaper to make. That's the big one. The lightness, honestly, saving weight like that in a tank, but at the cost of armor, is kind of stupid. Well, no, because it's like, what's the point of having a tank that doesn't have armor, right? I mean, it doesn't. You're saving weight. You're reducing weight at the expense of what the tank is supposed to do. But it is a lot cheaper, so I'll give it that. The downside is it's also very thin compared to other tanks. I believe the external armor, you can look this up, Melanie, but I believe it's 105 millimeters. And 105 millimeters of already like kind of
composite steel. So you want to explain the difference like between homogeneous and composite steel, or homogeneous and composite armor?
Wait a minute, what am I looking up?
Look up.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
All right.
So homogeneous armor composite armor is made up of like multiple different types of metals. It's a lot easier to make. It doesn't require a huge foundry to produce. In the way that a single or that rolled homogeneous steel would, where you actually have to have like a large ironworks that takes up a lot of power. Again, Israel, not a country especially known for large rivers, or I mean, I guess it's sunny there, but again, solar is not really the best way to run a steel
I see what you're talking about, Rory.
What?
Well, because of the design, there are areas of the tank that are as thin as like 10 millimeters. So you're right.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not.
It's like ideally like 20 to 30 millimeters, but just because of some of the sloping angles, it can be as thin as 10.
Yeah, it's not an ideal armor to use, and it is very thin at points. Which again came from a time when Israel was not most of the tanks they were facing up against were like very old, like T-60 tanks, like stuff from like the way back in the day of like, basically like shit from the Egyptian arsenal, or like a Sherman tank, like just like leftovers from World War II, essentially. Which is hilariously what Israel was also replacing was leftovers from World War II, specifically the Sherman, which, by the way, can we just say best Sherman tank, best tank of World War II? No question. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that in like the one thing I will say about the Sherman tank that people tend to miss is that maybe it's not as good as the T-34. Maybe it doesn't go up very well head to head, but it does run very well. It's probably the most functional.
It's a reliable. The way that people talk about like the AK as being like a reliable weapon. You can like drop it in mud or drag it through like water or whatever. Jam it up with sand.
Oh God!
Which is like none of which is true, by the way. But
okay, no, you can drop it in water. You can run it.
No, you can. But people act as if like you can just abuse an AK.
People are like, oh, you can fill that thing with dirt and rocks. Like,
yeah.
It's like a no.
But the super the super qualities that people ascribe to like AKs, I think, is relatively true of the Sherman tank. It's a very reliable. Oh, Jesus Christ, Rory, just go along with what I say.
No, I know.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say,
I'm saying it's a very reliable vehicle or a tank.
Yeah, and it doesn't require a lot of. Sorry, I was just going to add that it doesn't require a huge amount of complex maintenance.
Yeah.
Like I actually know a guy that works at Battlefield Vegas, and the reason why they always try to push like the Sherman tank on people is because it's like kind of easy to repair. The thing they absolutely do not want. And I don't know if they have one, but I guess I think the Bob
It's also on the inside. It's got a lot of room on the inside compared to most tanks.
I don't know. I've never actually been in one.
Okay.
I know that Bovril has I think it's what the Tiger 2 tank, the German one, and they fucking hate that thing. They think it's the biggest piece, because the thing is, it's such a pain in the ass. Like if anything fucks up on the tank, it is 4 days in the shop minimum just to get the thing taken apart. Like the wheel,
okay.
the suspension system, like all that stuff is super, super complicated, really hard to do. It's a cool suspension system. It works very well. It works better than the Shermans. But boy, oh boy, if something goes wrong, you are in the shop for a while. And they do go wrong. And everything in the military does go wrong eventually, including F-35. But getting back to the Merkava. So the other issue with the Merkava is, and I think the Mark V, the new one, has a blowout panel on the top. I know that actually because I've been watching footage, as Melanie probably has collated, at least some footage, of Merkava's turrets getting hit. And there is a blowout panel on the turret. But traditionally, there is not a blowout panel on a tank.
You want to explain for the viewers what a blowout panel is?
A blowout panel is essentially if there's an explosion in the ammo carriage, it doesn't burn everyone alive, right?
Yeah.
It allows the force to disperse
outwards.
Yeah, you do not want to have a tank without blowout panels. Otherwise, if there's an explosion in the tank, it will essentially just
cook everybody alive.
Yeah, just the force in general, like it'll cause it'll basically just cause like the impact itself will kill anybody in the tank. Even if even if there isn't like flame or anything in the tank, just the force itself can kill. You need to have those blow-up panels there. I think a lot of them don't. The other thing, weirdly enough, so the Sherman tank, for example, or the M1 Abrams, not the Sherman. So one of the things that got the Russians in a lot of trouble, I'll see if I can find this one, was the fact that Russian tanks, the T-90 in particular, had a tendency to blow its turret out. I'll see if I can find a video of it, but yeah, the turret, you can see, like, you'll see videos of like turrets just flying off the top. Here we go. We can share this. You can see here the T-90's turret. I think this is a scuttled tank, but you can see the turret flying off the top. That's because inside of a T-90 tank, you look at a cutaway, it uses a rate. It's called it's a T-72 as well, but all of them have the same. It's called a radial autoloader. So I'll see if I can find a picture of that. I really should have probably prepped this a little better. Let's see, T-72 radial autoloader. And basically what that means is that the ammunition is stored inside. Here we go. Open. Let's see if I can find maybe a better. Okay, here's a much better one. It's okay, but you can see here, like this is the way that the system works, right? Essentially, the ammo is stored in a carriage down here, or a carousel, and then it is loaded up automatically into the tank, and then it's loaded into the gun itself, right? It sort of has like almost an automatic,
like a feeder,
like a feeder. It's very similar to how a ship works, essentially. The main guns in like a destroyer, very similar to that. And the downside is if that carousel catches on fire, it blows the turret of the tank off, right?
Yeah.
And the Abrams doesn't have that issue because the Abrams, in classic hard Scrabble American fashion, does not include an automatic autoloader. It actually has a guy in the tank that does it. Like he literally has, if you watch a video, I'll see if I can find quickly here a video of Abrams loading. It's actually like there's a little door at the back. That they can pull the ammo out of, essentially. Like it has kind of an autoloader in the sense that in the back of the tank where the ammo is stored, it feeds out individual shells, and then a guy actually takes it and puts it into the gun itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they do that is because it allows, like, if there's a hit in the back and the ammo catches fire, the back of the tank will explode, but there's a difference. There's like a big armor wall in between the back of the tank and the actual crew compartment, which means the crew is more likely to survive an explosion to the back of the tank, or an ammunition explosion. Now, the Merkava itself actually kind of almost does both, which is a little weird. So the Merkava actually stores its ammunition.
Hang on a second. I do have a video of somebody loading a Sherman tank. Loading the main cannon on a Sherman tank. Sorry?
A Sherman or an Abrams?
Sherman. Did you want the Abrams tank loading?
Oh yeah, the Abrams. Sorry, was I saying a Sherman tank?
You were saying Sherman.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, the Abrams tank. Tank. The Sherman tank, they didn't have autoloaders at that point, so there isn't going to be one.
Yeah.
The Sherman tank actually god damn it, the Abrams tank. Jesus Christ. The Abrams tank is the one that actually has the separate storage with basically its own carousel that sticks the ammo out. Let me see if I can actually find a video
of the Abrams tank being loaded. I got it, dude. I got it. Don't worry, I'm on it.
Let's see it. All right.
Because I don't like it when you slow down to look. So hang on just 1 second here, because I have to unmute YouTube.
All right. Oh, sorry. Is it running?
No, I got it right now.
Cool, because I have the visual aid for the.
No. There's a video. I got a video. There we go.
All right. Yeah. Let's see.
See if the camera will pick it up. Okay. Gunner. Heat. PC.
Identify. 880.
Yes. He pops open.
Yep.
Guy pulls it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's called an APFSCS round. Throws it in.
Fire.
And
Kaboom.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And that's how it runs. So basically, if you want to pause the video, so basically that would, in a Russian tank, there would be, this guy isn't required in a Russian tank. It allows the Russian tanks to be crewed by fewer people. You don't necessarily need to have a dedicated loader. You can have only 2 or 3 guys, I think, running a T90, as opposed to a Abrams tank, which does require additional people, which requires a bigger tank and more soldiers. Downside, though, is that, as we've seen, if the carousel gets hit,
it's a wrap.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. Yeah. And also there's some issues with autoloaders. Although I think at this point, the T-72s, they've kind of ironed out all the problems with it, I assume. I don't think they have, other than, obviously exploding when hit from above, which we'll get to, because that is the other real issue with the Merkava. Although, to be honest, one thing to take away from this conflict, and especially the conflict in Ukraine, is that nobody was really expecting drones to be as big of a problem for tanks as they were. Yeah, I will say. So I don't know, Melanie, if you have any videos queued up of the
the
current
put in the blender. Oh no, Melanie was already on top of that.
And that's been sitting in the chat for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, she had that loaded up a while back.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's see. All right, we'll show this. Okay, so here we go. I know you guys. Are we sharing this one?
Yep. Hang on a second.
Okay.
I was just waiting for the streaming tool to catch up.
Okay, so we'll watch the video in full, and then we'll break it down, kind of play by play here. Okay, so.
من بين يدي مصدق ومن خلفي مصدق فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون.
Clank clank. All right. So what is that right there? Right?
What?
So what is this right here? Right here. What is that?
What's what? Sorry, I
what?
Hold on.
Can you? Are you able
Yeah, I
to
can see it.
it?
I can see it now. Yeah,
Okay.
I can see it now.
Yeah. What is that right here? Right.
Well,
there.
hold on. Let's just watch the video fully through,
right.
really quickly. I want to just, we'll
Which, by the way, okay, we'll get it in the replay. By the way, none of this should have happened. What we just saw. None of that should have happened.
Here's the kind of sad thing I think about this, because I'm re-looking at this video and I have it open in one of my tabs and I'm trying to see when he gets up close. I think you know what the worst part about this is.
What's that?
So here's the thing. A lot of people pointed this out. So going back, if you want to share my screen really quickly, so I can like run through this.
Yep.
So what you can see here is he's basically placing. I forget the name of this exactly. It's the indigenously produced RPG 7. I think it's PG
It's not an RPG 7, but that's the Yasin.
Well, yeah. So it's based.
RPG.
I mean, it's basically an indigenously produced version of the PG 7 VR.
Yeah.
Which is shot from an RPG 7. It's not obviously made by the Russian manufacturer of the RPG 7, but it is.
No, but I don't even think that that's the. I don't even think that that's the their version of the RPG 7. I think that's the Yasin, which has been around for I think since like the 90s. But I don't think it has the armor penetrating capabilities of an RPG 7.
Yeah, it's tough to because I know the guy that shoots the second rocket, that is an RPG 7.
Yeah.
Or PG 74. This I'm actually not sure about. I'd have to check that. But so basically what he's doing is he's putting down the rocket here. And the way that people have pointed this out is that the idea is that he's using that to disable what's called the trophy system. What's the trophy system? Well, the trophy system is the current Israeli and future U.S. Basically it's a form of reactive armor on a tank.
Active defense. Yeah.
Active defense armor on a tank. I'll see if I can look up a picture here of what it looks like. Because here's this thing that's kind of making me a little sad. I don't think that the trophy defense system was even online when he placed it down. That's the sad thing about this. I think he literally just ran up. It's like, dude,
that's the thing. So to give an idea to the viewer, like why this shouldn't have happened, the active defense on a tank. I don't know that the Merkava Marks 1 and 2 did not have it. I think the first Merkava to have the trophy active defense was the Mark 3. So I know they have him on the Mark 3 and 4. But the thing is, like, him being able to run up on that tank, like, he should have been turned into sawdust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you want to hold on, sorry.
Like they should have, like, it should have turned him into confetti.
Hold on. Here's the thing. So see this. Well, first off, the active defense system. So the trophy defense system is this part here and this part here. This whole unit is part of the trophy defense system. Now, the trophy defense system only comes into now at this point it's actually closed, which means that they did not expect anybody to come out behind them. So even if he had shot the missile, it wouldn't have come online. So basically, like, had the guy just shot the missile straight, it would have the trophy system. It wouldn't have activated. But basically, the point of a trophy of any of these active defense systems, it's the same thing with what's called ERA, or explosive reactive armor. The idea is if a shaped charge like a PG-74, there's so much to talk about. I'll see if I can look up a.
We can compress it because we're explaining it to lay people. Don't worry about it.
No, I know, but I like a visual explanation of what a shaped explosive is.
Okay.
Basically, the idea behind a shaped explosive is that the power of a shaped charge. Here we go. Open image tab. Yoink, and we'll share this tab instead. So, essentially, how a shaped charge works. There's explosive placed inside of this part of the rocket here. When that smushes into the front of a tank, all of that explosive power is directed forward, almost like a lance through the armor of a vehicle and into the tank, or whatever vehicle or whatever target it's hoping to hit. Now, with ERA and even the trophy system, the point is either to cause the missile to detonate outside, away from the tank, or if it can't detonate it, it screws up the air cavity here, and the trigger here. So essentially, what ends up happening is instead of directing all of that force forward through that air cavity, it just explodes on the outside of a tank. And just an explosion alone, even the composite armor of a Merkava could stop an explosion on its own, right? So going back to the video itself, we'll share this again. What he's doing when he places that the rocket there, right? So the explosive, I assume, again, I'm not actually sure. I haven't seen a cutaway of this, but I'm assuming that it is a shape charge. There is an explosive probably here, and then there's a cavity here. Unless this whole thing is just high explosive, right? So when he places it, he engages the trigger, which I believe it's like a short. I would imagine that it's on a timer, so he's got 3 to 5 seconds to run away.
Yeah, that's why he has to run away, because it's cooking.
Yeah, so he cooks it off. Now at this point, remember, it's not going to penetrate the Merkava's armor. Although, ooh, wait, hold on, I didn't even notice this.
What's that?
Clever Trevor. He turns it away.
Oh, he turned it towards. Oh, okay. Towards the
I
crevice.
I didn't even notice that was really quick. I'll cut the sound, see if I can. Yep. See, he turns away super fast so that when it explodes, it at least goes into the turret
Towards
itself.
the tank. Yeah.
Although again, because there's no momentum, the shape charge is going to be of somewhat questionable effectiveness. But regardless, the idea, I think, is to cause an explosion that would disable the trophy system, right? What that means, so this part up here, that is part of the trophy system. That's one of the radar, I believe it is part of the system. And by destroying that, by destroying the battery, the second shot that they're going to take with, if you see further on, with this, by the way...
nice shot, buddy.
Which, by the way, so this is actually a PG-74 VR, and you can see like any pictures of it, like you can tell because it has that extra long front part on it. So that way, that when that second shot hits, let's see here if I can pull it to that moment when he shoots that second shot. If there is a trophy system involved, it will not be activated, or it'll be so compromised that it can't counter the second rocket blast. So that's essentially what happens. Now, granted, I think so. My kind of view on this, just because, how do I put this? I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like the accuracy isn't that. I mean, it's a good shot, but it's not like he's not going crazy.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Rory! He's in the middle of combat and he fucking fired off an arc. Jesus, tits. All right, go ahead.
Well, no, everyone's like, "Whoa, what a shot!" It
was a good shot. Holy shit! Like, okay, you're in the middle of combat. Okay, you've just cooked off an RPG round. You're running back. You button hook, pull up an RPG-7, and then fire off the next. I mean,
military equipment is usually designed to be used in battle.
Jesus Christ, Rory. All right,
I'm sorry. No,
how often is somebody doing that in battle?
Shooting a RPG-7 at a tank
after you've just sprinted and button hooked. After you've just sprinted away from the tank and then button hooked it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to be able to use it when you're sprinting too. I mean, right. Like people don't just sit in place in the middle of a battle. And,
I know they don't, Rory.
I'm just saying that everyone's like it's an incredible shot. I'm like, not. I mean,
it was a good shot. All right,
it was a good shot, but it's not like it's designed, guys. Again, it's designed to be able to hit.
What is it about people's enthusiasm that pisses you off so bad?
It's not enthusiasm. It's just saying, like, well, no, that's how it's designed to be. It's designed to be shot at 100 yards. That's how it's designed, 100 to 200 yards, and so he took a shot with the RPG. It's not like an especially long shot for that piece of equipment. It's designed to be shot from that distance and shot at that distance. Again, he's not like, it's not Annie.
There is something about people having enthusiasm for a thing that really gets under your skin.
It's not enthusiasm. It's just that, like, no, it was a good shot, but people are
Yeah.
like, this is the unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, first off, we don't know if he soloed the tank. Let's be clear, because that's the other thing. We actually don't. One thing I will say you have to be a little careful about with all of this battle footage is we don't actually know what the damage to the tank was.
Right.
And that is one thing you have to keep in mind when looking at all of this.
Okay, you saw the explosion. Okay, and I actually did say that last night. I was like, I don't know if the tank was completely disabled, because obviously it's the explosion, right? So I don't know that.
I mean, look, if anybody has the full footage that includes like any after effect, because keep in mind, like at the end of this footage,
hold on. I said, I don't know that you could determine from this, and I said this last night. I tweeted out last night. I don't know that a single RPG shot like that would have disabled the entire tank. Obviously disabled the trophy system, but I don't know if I think the tank would still be usable. I don't know that you could take it out with a single RPG shot like that. However,
you could.
You could, yeah, but it's not guaranteed, right? But the occupants of the tank definitely shitted on themselves.
Oh yeah, no, like they felt. I mean, look, when they hit it, they felt that thing. Like,
Yeah,
that is for sure.
They for sure shit on themselves.
Their bells got rung just a little bit.
Yeah, no, like that. I would not want to be in that tank when that.
Could you imagine the concussion inside of that tank?
Well, so the thing about a lot of, interestingly enough, so there's one of the it's not the Israelis don't use it. Actually, pretty much the only people that use it are the British, hilariously. It's called a hash round, which is high explosive squash head. It's one of the few reasons why the British, I forget which tank it is. I believe it's the Challenger. It's one of the few tanks whose barrel actually has a rifled barrel. Most tanks are smoothbore. Most tank barrels are smoothbore, including the Merkava and the Abrams, I believe. Yeah, and the T-90. Pretty much all the T series of tanks for the Russians are smoothbore. But the British Challenger does use what's called a hash round. And the idea of the hash round is that it causes such a massive explosion that the force goes through the armor of the tank and causes the interior armor of the tank to start to shred. So it basically turns the interior of the tank into
like fleshette routes. Yeah,
it's what's called spalling. It's one of the reasons why if you're into body armor, they'll always tell you to go with ceramic instead of metal plate, because bullets have a tendency to spall too. And basically what that means is the hardened shell, when something gets hit with a lot of force, the hardened shell will just break off and shatter into pieces. But again, like, going back to, hold on. Yeah, if you see the part where I stopped, like, this is the only thing we can really see from that tank. So I have actually no idea. One, I don't know if they even hit the same tank. Some people were saying they hit a second tank. I don't really know. I can't see it. I do see an explosion, and I do think the trophy system was actually closed. So even if he didn't destroy the trophy system, I don't think it should have activated. But again, it's tough to say. No, the point I'm trying to say here is, like, again, this is what everyone's like, oh, you're coping, but it's not cope. It's like, no, literally, this is what the rocket is designed to do. It's designed to hit things. I'm just saying, it's designed
for the average person who has never seen combat to be able to see something like that, right? And to see someone do that under the amount of because running up on a fucking tank is probably one of the most pants-sweating experience you could possibly have. So I think for average people to see someone doing that, right, and compose themselves well enough to like fire that thing off and actually hit the target, I think what they're just expressing is like, yeah, that's fucking incredible. I wouldn't be able to do that. It's like when you see Victor Wembanyama, the rookie on the San Antonio Spurs. Okay, when you see him with like 4 or 5 blocks per game and like multiple steals, this guy's like defensive player of the year material. When you see somebody like doing what he does on the basketball court, it's like, that's fucking awesome. And it's like, he's really good at what he does. That's why he was drafted by the Spurs. But yeah, like for a basketball player, they're like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And the average person is like, holy shit, this guy's like a once in a generation athlete. I think people are just expressing excitement. That's all.
Well, but yeah, like, again, this is what it's designed to do. I mean, okay, in addition to that guy, there's also a lot of people who Hamas has that their whole thing is designing, things like explosives. And yeah, they've designed them well enough, and they've used a tested system, the RPG-7 PV, I think, which is designed to function in that capacity. So I mean, again, you can call it coping, you can call it whatever you want, but like, no, they designed this to work, and it's working in the way it's supposed to work.
Which, by the way, to produce those things on your own, because there's no like manufacturing facilities in Gaza. Like this is not.
No.
This is
There
not
are.
like.
I mean,
yeah.
there. I mean, it's not like.
like
the
boundary, but it's no. I'm saying like there is. It's a very interesting process. They actually have. I mean,
sorry,
again,
like they don't. What I'm trying to say is they don't have like industrialized manufacturing facilities like you do in, say, like the U.S., Britain, et cetera, et cetera. It's not like produced with billions of dollars of corporate money and like government lobbying behind it. This is all. This is indigenously produced arms, which is pretty impressive.
It will at least, at the very least, indigenously assembled, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like. So again, I believe that I don't know exactly where they source the explosive from.
Everyone says Iran, but I'm not 100% on that because, like, Iran is on the other side of Israel from Gaza. So, like,
it could go through like Egypt too.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, there's ways of smuggling it through, but that's also to assume that like no other nearby countries have any interest in Palestinians defending Gaza. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'd be interested to see what like Sisi's position is on this.
Yeah.
Although, to be honest, it could be. It could not. It could just be like a faction within the Egyptian military. I would be interested, yeah, because the one thing I do think is quite a bit of their equipment is Iranian, I believe, or at least some of it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm not saying they don't get any arms from Iran. I'm saying like it's also not the easiest thing to get arms from Iran, just as a matter of logistics. So I would assume that they're not like sole sourced from Iran.
Yeah, I would actually have to look into that, honestly. I don't really know because again, Iran's an interesting country, I will say. Like they have spent one of the things about countries that have spent a long time subject to sanctions is that they're very good at evading them. So if they are getting support from Iran, it wouldn't be direct. It would be, through like the IRGC and through conduits, essentially, right? So they would send it to a third-party country. The third-party country might send that to Egypt. Egypt might move that through somewhere else, or I don't really know anywhere else that abuts on the Gaza Strip. I think it's just Egypt, right?
Egypt is the only country because the only way out that they have is the Rafah crossing into Egypt.
Yeah, so it's either through that or maybe by sea. But I don't know.
Do I got to pull out a map for viewers that aren't?
I'm thinking about ways that they would do it. I don't know if they would go by sea though, because I do think the Israelis have a fairly robust coast guard for that exact purpose, to prevent that sort of thing from happening. Although I will say, actually, I can pull this up. I did make a very specific bookmark of this, but Hamas has also produced a submersible drone, which is, here, we'll share this tab instead. I follow a lot for business reasons, I do follow certain, here we go. The Al-Asaf armed underwater vehicle. So I believe there is a video of this somewhere. Regardless, I don't know if I'll be sharing this. Here we go. So basically, the way that this works is they have, I guess the way that the idea, I think, is that there's going to be a warhead in here. It's powered by a GoPro, and I believe, at least from what we've seen, early footage, it does appear to be a gas-powered. It appears to be a gas-powered drone, which is why they have this snorkel mask here, right? There's a reason why a lot of like Russian and US versions of this tend to use electric engines, and it's because an electric engine, you can just kind of put it under the water and go pretty deep. Whereas I believe the Iranians have something that's much larger than this, but their own version of a underwater drone that works, I believe, on a diesel hybrid engine. So it still needs that tube, at least for part of its travel. I would be very interested, though, to see how well this works. I get the feeling, because one thing to note if you're working with drones is that underwater drones are among the hardest drones to produce. And to get operable. Air drones actually aren't too bad because, again, they're flying through the air and it's pretty easy to get a radio signal to the air. But getting a radio signal to the water is actually
very difficult.
Yeah, it tends to fuck with your radio systems. Also, just in general, submersible drones are quite slow. I don't know what the maximum speed on this is. I kind of wish... See if I can find that video, because there is a video of them using it. Oh God, I like this guy, this H.I. Sutton, or this Covert Shore. It's actually a very good publication, but he does tag Malcolm Nance and all of his shit.
By the way, Malcolm Nance, fucking, I don't know if you saw. He tried to Fed jacket Black Redguard. Shout out to Black Redguard. You know, listen, he and I have had many philosophical differences, but the fact that he gave Malcolm Nance a hemorrhoid, that makes him a good guy in my book.
I love... Okay, I have such hit or miss with it. I mean, I do like him. He's so funny.
He is.
I didn't know he was on Dr. Phil.
Oh, that was like his. Aside from the, we don't need gun control. We need cracker control.
That came after we don't need gun control, because Dr. Phil was like, well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. People found out about that pretty early. You know, like when they caught on to his videos. You know, your family your family suffered under communism. Why should I care? That was fucking hard. That was hard as hell. Black Redguard blocked me. Oh, Malcolm Nance blocked me. Because he was yelling at Nicole Hannah Smith. Listen, dude, like when you've lost the 1619 lady, who was like the most liberal black liberal, like you've lost. You've lost the PR battle. And I noticed a lot of people that were really like hard-dicked for the whole Israeli ground invasion. You know, they wanted their get back on Hamas. Even a lot of liberals were really on board with this. Like they were just hot and sweaty for it. And now that they see that, you know, the retaliation is just like bombing orphanages. I don't know if you saw that they struck a pediatric clinic tonight.
Yes, I saw.
No, I didn't see
that. It's just like, did you think Hamas was hanging out in like the baby incubators? What the fuck is wrong with you? So even the liberals are like, this is just a little bit too much for me. I can't do this. So he was yelling at Nicole Hannah Jones and telling her like, well, you know, if you should just I fought terrorists my entire life. You don't know what it's like over there. You should suit up and go over there if you want to talk so tough. And it's like, bro, why are you talking to everybody like you're at a fucking bar, like boasting about your high school football record?
Dude, he's such a FUD. I love it.
He's such a fucking dude. He's like an American volunteer to Ukraine. That I mean, as goofy as he is, he has a fairly extensive record in the military. Like he's no small fries. I do joke about him putting his feet up on the desk and giving orders, but I mean he has a fairly extensive record, and I'm pretty sure.
Not combat. Not combat, bro.
I don't think that he wouldn't have had any experience with combat. Keep in mind he was an instructor at this. He was an instructor at the SEER school. Right.
Well, he's in Navy. He's intelligence. He's military intelligence, right?
Right. I got it. But he was also an instructor at you know SEER, right?
No.
SEER survival. What was it? Survival, escape, resistance, and evasion. I think that's what it stands for. Basically, like how to avoid getting caught, and if you get caught, how to not spill the beans.
Yeah, which is probably what that was the part he was involved in, because he's intelligence.
Right. So, but I assume that he would have had at least some like on the ground experience carrying a weapon and firing at the enemy. At least some. I don't think he's fucking JSOC, but I think he at least has some combat experience.
He was mostly if he's military intelligence, he's probably attached to a unit that does that.
Okay. Well, okay, fine. Hey, in this case where you want to tamp down enthusiasm or expectations, I'm completely fine with you doing it about Malcolm Nance. I don't. Want,
know.
he's
I'm
already,
just saying, like,
he's already gassed up his own record enough as it is. Because this guy, every time he gets in front of a microphone and starts talking about his combat experience, he's basically the Steven Seagal of Navy guys.
No, and here's how I know. Because here's the thing about
I worked for the FBI and the CIA.
He is. He literally he's like, again, and this is something that everybody pointed out, because like I remember when he first started posting about Ukraine, a bunch of people were like, no, we know the exact, like I actually asked a friend of mine who was in, I believe, the Green Berets about like what Malcolm Nance would do, and he's like, yeah, no, that guy would have been brought along with us. Like he was he's basically like, he's not Pete Buttigieg. He's not like that kind of guy, but he's not. They're not sending him in to do like, firefights with people.
He's attached to a unit. He's on the back of the Jeep. And
I'll put it to you like this: if Malcolm Nance is going into combat, something has gone very, very, very wrong. And to be quite honest with you, nothing really went that wrong when he was stationed.
Well, no, because every time that he was out, like especially in Libya, etc., it was all squash matches. Afghanistan, it was all squash matches. But yeah, he got mad at Nicole Hannah-Jones from the New York Times, the lady who started the 1619 Project, because even she was saying, "Hey, this is pretty fucking awful that they're just straight up killing journalists now." And Malcolm Nance says, "Well, journalists should understand that when they're in the middle of a war, these things can happen." It's like, bro, like they're deliberately targeting journalists. What's wrong with you? Anyway, so I tweeted back at him. I was like, dude, you know what you should do? You should like suit up one last time, roll up the old sleeves, and go show the TikTok army how it's done. Like you should actually just be there and gossip, bro. You should go there.
Well, he was in Ukraine.
He blocked me for that. No, he got kicked out of Ukraine. They got so sick of his shit, they kicked him out. Oh yeah, they loaded his fat ass into a javelin and fired him out.
Wait, he's back home now?
Yeah, they kicked him out a long time ago. There was a pretty extensive New York Times article about American volunteers to Ukraine, that the Ukrainian army just got sick of their shit. And so like Malcolm Nance goes there and then just like gets into a bunch of fucking drama with Ukrainian command, like with the units that he was volunteering to help out. He basically went over there, started throwing his weight around, telling them, "Okay, well, I'm gonna show you whippersnappers how it's done." And they're like, "Bro, my brother, I don't understand. I don't think you understand. You're not one of us. You're black. Get the fuck out." Like they sent his ass packing.
Well, because he was like, he was. More
did you what did you think? What kind of response? What kind of reception did you think you were going to get from a Ukrainian army, bro?
No, I thought he was just like he was like their mascot. Like they just had him around in like the back. Like
no. He
was pretending that he was like going to the front lines. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You have no Russian language experience, no Ukrainian language experience. To be honest, you don't really have that much combat experience.
I think the only
you're in
other language he speaks
50s to 60s. I think. How old is he? He's like in his late.
Malcolm Nance, I would say like mid 50s.
Mid to late 50s.
He does speak other languages. Like I know for a fact he speaks Arabic, but I don't know that he speaks Ukrainian or Russian.
I don't think he speaks either of those languages. I wouldn't
Arabic
imagine.
Or?
No.
Russian or Ukrainian? Not that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, he might speak Arabic just because he was an intelligence officer in that region. But like, I don't think
since like the 1980s.
Yeah, like, oh God, yeah. So again, well, maybe he has some, but not. Certainly, I do not believe he has like anything above even basic conversational Russian or Ukrainian. No,
I would be surprised if he spoke either language fluently. But either way, yeah, he went over there. He tried to throw his weight around and tell him how it's done. And they told him to take a fucking hike. So yeah, he's back. There was a pretty lengthy New York Times article that talked about like American scammers. Like some guy I think worked at a fucking like storage depot or something. Lied about his experience in the U.S. military. Went over there and they realized like, bro, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And they sent him back. And they realized like a lot of Americans that went over to Ukraine volunteering, talked up their experience or just flat out lied about it because. I mean, they were LARPers. They were basically they wanted to get their hands on guns and start firing at the enemy, but they didn't have any tactical utility to the Ukrainian military.
No, I mean, and the Ukrainian Legion in general was that was 90%.
It's just a bunch of
95%. what's it called? Like a media move. Like it wasn't designed to actually, like they weren't going to actually see like, because again, you don't have language experience, and that is one thing that is very important in that.
You need to be able to communicate with people in their native language if you're going to be taking orders on the battlefield.
And
that's where
this
miscommunication can fuck you up. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is not like a part of the world where English language knowledge is especially high. Like in a lot of other parts of the country or in the other parts of the world, like even like the Rojava guys, like a lot of those guys could speak English just because like, you know, it's a very useful language to have. Right? Like
or as a lingua franca, yeah.
But Eastern Europe, like once you get even like in major cities, like once you get, and especially once you get out of major cities,
it's not useful at all. Yeah.
No, there's very few people have that language. So
no.
So guys like
like a recently arrived or relatively recently arrived member of my family came from Eastern Ukraine, and she's from Donetsk city. Can't like her English is better now, but
take me down to the Donetsk city.
where the girls are pretty line. I don't think it.
And the water is shitty.
Don't you know? No, but she was actually a teacher there in Donetsk city, and when she got here, like she could not speak a lick of English. My family has been helping her, I guess, like come along with her English. Mm-hmm. But like out in the more remote areas, and Donetsk city is not remote by any stretch. It's like it's metropolitan for Eastern Ukraine, but yeah, like English is not a not everybody speaks it.
Oh,
even passingly well. But anyway, sorry. The map here, like what I want to show is that like because a lot of people don't really understand the geography at play here. So, like even for example, like this whole like river to the sea thing, right? Like over here is like the Jordan River, and this is where the West Bank is, and then over here is the Gaza Strip. So the Gaza Strip and the West Bank are separated by by contiguous Israel. In the Mediterranean Sea.
Where's the Jordan Air? Where's the Jordan Air?
Shut up. The Mediterranean Sea is heavily patrolled by Israeli and U.S. Warships. Right, so they've got, like you said, a pretty robust coast guard. It would be very difficult to traffic goods, especially weapons and arms, to traffic it from Iran, right? Because it's like you're crossing through Iraq, through Syria, you have to make it to the coast, and then once you've gotten your goods to the coast, you then have to traffic it in to Gaza through the ports here. That would be pretty difficult, I think.
Well, I mean, so
or hold on. Or like your alternative route is to send goods around the Gulf, up the Red Sea, up the Suez, through Egypt. But either way, like the sea routes you have a high chance of being intercepted by Israeli or U.S. ships. But it's not the easiest thing in the world. My pet theory, because I don't think everyone says like, Iran smuggles goods into Gaza, not realizing the simple logistics of it are very fucking difficult. My theory is that they're sending over schematics, and then Gazans are using those schematics to either assemble goods that they've already got or to manufacture goods almost from scratch.
It would be interesting to see how they would, because the manufacturing, that would actually be quite difficult. Because I know for a fact that they have large assembly facilities where they put together things like I think it's their equivalent of the PG-74, right? The rockets that they use in rocket attacks. I would actually be very interested to see how they source that, because that actually might be something because you do need to like source an explosive, right? That's not a very easy thing to produce, and these are not like gunpowder bombs, right? They're not like there's something like tannerite or something. It's like they're actually very well made. So I'd imagine, again, probably. I mean, keep in mind that like Iran, especially the IRGC, has very extensive black market networks or connections in that region. I mean, that's what they do. That's their sort of raison d'etre. is to work with those sorts of foreign underground units and to supply them. So I would imagine that there are, if it's not directly given by Iran, it's sent to like Hezbollah or people in Lebanon or in Syria, who then might, or even maybe in Egypt, although that would be a little probably more dicey. And then it's moved in through some other means, right? There is a very, certainly in the Middle East, there's a very robust black market for goods, and they don't have to move a lot of them, right? Because they're not. I will say that, like this, for example, what we're seeing now in Gaza, the sort of counteroffensive, or it's not really counteroffensive. It's more like a sort of the blunting of the offensive. Hamas has been saving up for this for a while, right? I mean, that's a big thing that's very interesting about this conflict, is how I really do think that Hamas has been biding their time for a very long time.
Right.
Slowly over time building up these forces, slowly over time building up these capabilities. And for that, I mean, I can't really think of another way they would be getting that equipment. It might not originate in Iran. It could be, Russian stock in Syria. I don't think it's stuff from Yemen. That maybe it is, though. I don't know.
I mean, the Houthis themselves were not very well armed relative to
they weren't. But it would be like it would be stuff that
would they even have the necessary arms to be able to send over?
Oh yeah, they would. I mean, they would absolutely have like arms
enough to send, because they need them themselves,
Well, here's the thing. Here's the question. I mean, again, it's not like the Houthi military command is like, sending out like a script. It could just be like, an old ammo dump.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
No, but that is how the IRGC, and this is not me being like an American propagandist here. Like, no, this is how they operate. They have the way that these sorts of organizations work is they have extensive contacts with groups like, within Yemen who can buy those sorts of things up. They have, if there are like a large number of RPG-7 warheads that just happen to be freed up somehow or get lost, they can get sold. They get purchased off like the black market, and then they can get moved around somewhere else. It's not, I wouldn't say as much in Yemen, just because Yemen is quite poor, but Syria for sure, there's a lot of stuff laying around. Lebanon now to a lesser extent. In the 80s, or the post like 1980s civil war in Lebanon,
I feel like you and me could have made a killing in the arms game.
There's a guy, hilariously, the Brugger and Hammett guys. There's actually, I don't know if they made it into a movie, but there was a whole scandal early on.
Because I feel like we both have the charisma of Nicolas Cage and Jared Leto, Lord of War.
Which one of us is going to get addicted to uppers? That's probably going to be me. I'm going to be honest with you.
I was going to say, listen, you think you're ever going to find me
to snort a giant mountain of cocaine in the shape of Ukraine? Yes, that's your fate, Rory.
I put it in the shape of Washington State.
No, I was going to say, like, do you think I was just going to say before you all interrupted my joke, do you think you're actually going to see me snorting a line of cocaine in the shape of Jamaica? No, you won't. I'm not a drugs guy.
Well, wait a minute. Now that you said that, hold on.
What? No. I don't. Whatever it is, whatever gene it is that gets people addicted to drugs, I lack it. It's just not there for me.
See, for me, I'm just not. I'm not a downers guy.
Yeah, I think people at most, like, you could bribe me with a pile of like gummy candies in the shape of Jamaica, but not with cocaine. I would turn it down.
You snort the gummy candies.
Yeah, I would melt it and inject it intravenously.
Pixie sticks. Like you're like you think you're so cool in high school. That was like, okay. Did anybody?
No, I would melt the gummy candies in a spoon and inject it between my toes.
Yeah, but did anybody joke about that in your high school where they're like snorting pixie sticks?
Yeah, all the time.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's what we would do. It's like I've filled it out. I've surrounded it.
Yeah, and injecting between your toes is a terrible place.
I know you're gonna give yourself gangrene. I'm just thinking of the most like desperate way to inject possible.
I start between my toes. I start like in my anus. I start.
He gives himself a colonic with it.
Get that shit out of the way early, dude. Like that's like eating. That's like for like
go for the dick vein shot right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You start. That's like eating your vegetables before you get to the meat, right? That's like. Yeah, like you don't eat dessert before you eat the main course, man. You gotta start on like the shittiest parts of the body. And honestly, like if you're not willing to inject in your anus, I don't think you're cut out for this.
Hold on? Did you guys know?
Call yourself a junkie? If you've not done that? And yeah, I guess you can't.
Did you guys know that Richard Pryor made Pam Grier Baron by, you know what he did? No, listen, what? I think Richard Pryor is one of the funniest men who ever lived, but for this one, he definitely is going to hell, all right? He would pat down he would like roll his dick in cocaine, like a chicken breast in flour at KFC. He would roll his dick in cocaine before they had sex. And
see, I feel like
apparently the effect of it made her barren.
That sounds like Marilyn Manson removing his rib to some.
Yeah,
that sounds. I don't know.
I'm not buying that.
Sounds. Yeah, it's like, hold on a minute. I got to put some talcum powder on my dick. Like, ew.
He actually had, like, in his comedic routines and everything, he talked about like putting cocaine on his dick before sex. He had actually done. He talked about it. As to whether he actually did it,
I feel like that because again, it's like, why would you do it that way?
Yeah,
they didn't have Blue Chew back then. All right, they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah, they probably whatever the equivalent of Blue Chew was. Like I don't know what the first version of that was, but they had that
ginseng tea is pretty much it. Like they
had like a version of it before that. Like it was was developed for like
horny goat weed. I don't know.
No, it was developed for airline pilots because that's all that Blue Chew does. It just opens up your veins.
Yeah.
That's why
bodybuilders.
Oh wait, no. It was in her memoir. She wrote it in her memoir. Hang on a second.
I still think that's...
Yeah, it wasn't an urban legend. I mean, she talked about it. So...
No, I mean, it's not quite urban legend. I'm sure that,
he said, Pam, I want to tell you about an epidemic that's prevalent in Beverly Hills right now. It's a buildup of cocaine residue around the cervix and the vagina. You have it. Are you doing drugs? No, I said, astonished. Well, it's really dangerous, he went on. Is your partner putting cocaine on his penis to sustain his erection? No, I said. Not that I know of. It's not like he has a pile of cocaine next to the bed and he dips his penis in it before we have sex. I had a nauseating flash of one of Richard's famous lines. Even my dick has a cocaine Jones. So yeah, like I told you, he joked about that shit. Are you sure he isn't doing it in the bathroom before he comes to bed? That's a possibility. You know, I am dating Richard Pryor. Oh my god, he said, we have a serious problem here. If he's not putting it on his skin directly, then it's worse because the coke is in his seminal fluid. Then the doctor asked her if her mouth went numb while performing oral sex on Pryor, which she says it did, and when she links the Novocaine-like effects of cocaine. So either he was putting cocaine on his dick before sex, or he was doing so much cocaine that it was seeping out of his dick pores. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now that seems more likely to me.
That's a lot of coke. Holy shit.
You know, my man put Scarface to shame.
Oh my god! Like he was Tony Montana, just like slamming his face into a mound of cocaine on his desk. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Yeah, he's going to hell for sure.
That's chronic use of no. Again, like something seems like it just like seems weird about that. Like I was barren because. I don't know. It could have caused, problems down there, but I don't know if it could make you go sterile. Barren. Yeah, that does seem weird to me. I don't know.
Yeast infections, yes, probably, definitely, like other problems of that nature, but like,
Yeah, something about that doesn't.
The guy said that there was a buildup of cocaine residue in her cervix and her vagina.
Which guy? Was it her doctor?
Her doctor. Yeah, her gyno.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so apparently, I looked this up, and let's see, Jezebel. You guys remember Jezebel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, isn't it still a thing?
Is it?
I think so. Jezebel the magazine?
Yeah. Well, because it was part of Gawker like media or whatever, like the Gawker's like
The
media.
truth about
empire was.
cocaine vaginas.
Oh yeah, it's still going on.
Okay, we checked with Dr. Jan Gurley, a physician who works at a public health clinic for the homeless in San Francisco. In her spare time, blogs for SF Gate. Here's why it's unlikely from a physiological standpoint. Cocaine is a form of adrenaline, and your body processes it on a temporary basis, Dr. Gurley explained. The speed with which your body processes it depends on the blood flow to the area. Toxicologists testing for cocaine often check the eyeballs or the nose because those are low blood flow areas. The vagina, however, is a high blood flow zone. Doc Gurley says the Obgyn surgeon's term of art is that the vagina is very forgiving. It really is if you think about it. I guess. Bottom line, what does it mean, very forgiving? The vagina is
very forgiving? The moon is a harsh mistress. The vagina is a forgiving one. Like,
what does that mean?
It's a Jezebel article. Keep going.
Okay, all right.
There's just certain things that Jezebel articles are going to include, and a line
it's extremely unlikely that there could be any toxic vagina effect of cocaine. The one outstanding question is whether ejaculate can store cocaine, and how fast a woman could heal from that after sex. All in all, having any doctor tell any patient something like that smacks of either misremembered recall on the patient's part, or possibly more likely a sleazy attempt by a vaguely irresponsible doc to scare someone into making a major life change. But the whole topic is yet another morality tale.
Just made it up. Like...
Hold on. Showing yet another reason why it's so important to insist on a condom. Okay, first of all, they were in a relationship, right? And as we all know,
you think that Richard Pryor's going to put on a condom? Like, I don't think so.
Right? Also,
no,
like, you're in a listen. Can we all be truthful with ourselves here? You're in a relationship. Who's going to insist on a condom in a relationship? I'm sorry. Condoms are trash.
If somebody is on isn't on birth control, that could be one thing.
Well, I mean, but like, why would you just not go on birth control? You know, the Jolly Overall factory has been around since the 1960s. So really, why wouldn't you?
There could be health reasons. Like again, I don't think that it's very stupid.
What health reasons would stop you from going on birth control?
There are some people have adverse effects to it.
Yeah, it can. Yeah. There are some people who the birth control pill can cause adverse side effects in them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just put it in an IUD. I don't know. Listen, in a long-term relationship, can we all just be honest? The condom at some point just becomes vestigial. You're just gonna have like a couple of them sitting in your drawer that have been there for 2 years. We all know this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
insist on wearing a condom. Shut up, lady.
It's a Jezebel arc. I don't know,
our position here at Philadelphia is that condoms are trash.
No, our position is that you shouldn't have sex.
You just shouldn't have sex. It's kind of gross to be thinking
everybody's
about it.
Everybody's just horny all the time. It sucks. We should go back to Sharia law. That's another one. I'm so tired of it, dude. Can I just say? If fucking Ukraine was the most Reddit war of all time, Israel-Palestine is the most Coomer war of all time.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Fucking shit. I am so fucking tired of just all these it's just everybody is so fucking degenerate and horny now. Oh my god, stop it.
Yeah.
Just this person is hot. We should have hot women showing off our country. It's get the fuck out of here. What an embarrassing. And at first it was really overwhelmingly the Israeli side, so I'll give them that. I don't think that Palestinians were doing this, but now that it's becoming more mainstream, there's OnlyFans girls that are getting trying to sell themselves.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What I do actually see though is Palestinians telling them okay, could you guys shut the fuck up, please? Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit around here. I see a lot of that, which I respect highly, right? Because remember, and I wonder if I should even be bringing this up around two crackers, but the BLM shit, the marches for Black Lives, the uprising in 2020. But
there was I vaguely remember there was an actual porn star that just took a picture of her holding her shirt up and just next to a George Floyd memorial.
There was so much of that shit, and then
RIP. But here's the best part.
Yeah,
week after, that was the last thing she posted. The week after she died of an overdose.
Oh god. Oh. Oh, oh my god, I'm going to hell.
Boy, that was one.
I'm
way
going
to
to
go.
hell.
No,
That was one way-
you're
that was
both
one-
you're both
That
going
was
to hell
one way
for
to
that
go
one.
out. No, I mean, it's just such a funny. I'm like, wow, what was the last thing she posted? And it was just like her making a shirtless pic. I'm like, oh boy, that's
what you get.
That's one hell of a way to go out, man.
Oh my god, no! Those people saying. I saw one chick. It was a white woman too. This actually disgusted me because like some people were just letting their minds get away with them. As one lady said something like, she said something like, "I support black dick, so I support black lives," or some shit like that. Yeah. She's like,
dude.
there's a white woman that turned it into a fetish, and then like there was like the women that were like twerking in front of cops. I don't know if you saw that picture of this one. I'm not gonna. Listen.
Embarrassing. No.
Yeah.
Again,
there was. Hold on. Let me finish. God damn it. There's more. I'm disgusted, Rory.
All right.
The worst one that I saw, at least, was this one woman that like laid down on the concrete. Okay, she had like a very short skirt on and no panties on. Laid down with her back on the concrete and like laid on her back, pulled her leg up to the head, so she was doing basically like inverted split, with her like her pussy up in the air towards like God and the entire world. And when I saw that shit, I'm like, it's over. It's fucking over. We lost. Like, we're never gonna recover from this.
Well, that's just everything now is gonna be like because again we fully brought together being horny and being political, largely in fact thanks to OnlyFans. Like that's just how things are gonna be forever now. I think
fuckability politics.
it's not even that. It's just like people selling their stupid OnlyFans. Like it's just gonna be like, oh, if you donate to a relief fund, I'm gonna send you like pictures of my ass.
It is also the people who decided to make whether they're fuckable a social justice issue.
There was so much of that shit happening in 2020. Holy
that
shit.
was big because that was really big in like 2014.
No, Rory, you don't listen. You weren't around my community. That shit was like it was an epidemic. There was a short period of time. There was a very short period of time right after the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, and then right up until like the gender war over dude, can you? I was about to say fucking Breonna Taylor. Holy shit. I'm very tired.
Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
When we all went out to the streets to decide whether Breonna Joy Gray was fuckable. That's why I was out in the streets. Oh,
Breonna Taylor, dude. It almost came out of my mouth. Anyway, right up until that whole like gender split, where people were saying like, oh, nobody's out here in the streets marching for Breonna Taylor. Meanwhile, Louisville was like the streets were packed.
Oh yeah.
With people, it's just that you didn't hear about it until yesterday, lady. Like, yeah, I remember. What's that fat bitch's name? She goes by Professor Crunk on Twitter.
Amy Schumer, yeah.
No, Dr. Brittany Cooper. Like, she would listen. Anybody that would ever put a microphone in front of her face, she was lying her motherfucking ass off, and saying that that nobody was marching for Breonna Taylor. And she even went so far as to say like, oh, black men are saying, oh, we don't want to take away the attention from George Floyd, so we can't march for Breonna Taylor. And I was like, you lying bitch. Who told you that?
Yeah,
where did you get that? Where'd you get that from?
The thing is, it's just all self-promotion now. The thing, I think the difference is that there's no real political impetus. It's people being like trying to sell like
so what I guess what I was trying to say is that like people sort of jumped on that and then started doing this whole like sexual politics thing, and then turned the 2020 protest into an absolute fucking farce. Like it was the twerking on cops, like flashing the crowd and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like twerk your way to the polls for Joe Biden. It got so fucking disgusting. And then Rory, it's like you said, it's like microplastics. It's in everything now.
It's just everything is just like insanely horny now, and it just sucks. It's like it's just kind of gross, and I hate to use the word like degenerate, but it really is. It's kind of like, oh, come on.
It's dysgenic at the very least.
It's degenerate. I'll say it. It is. It is.
When I say dysgenic, I mean it gets worse and worse with every successive generation.
Yeah, it's just everything is so horny now that like it's just in everything, and it's like I'm just tired of it.
Like sex is fine. I'm a big supporter of sex. It's fine. I'd like to think I have a healthy sex life, but keep that shit to keep it to yourself. And I don't mean like closet yourself. I just mean like nobody wants to hear about that shit all the fucking time.
Nope.
No, and that's the problem. Is it's in everything now. It is like it's like when Indian people put spice in like food that doesn't need spice in it. It's like why like it doesn't need to be in pizza, right? It's just like and it's just exhausting, and it's
it's like people in the South and Old Bay seasoning. You know, it doesn't have to be in everything.
And it's I'll say it is especially pronounced on the like it's weird. The left and the right have very different ways. Like the right is more weirdly enough, the right is more like horny and sort of like a grandpa horny sense. Like, look at those buxom gals.
Look at those gams.
Look at those buxom gals out there supporting Trump. Where the left
just a healthy old woman. Yeah.
It's just very mercenary. It's all like because again, it's mostly people like trying to flog their like shitty OnlyFans. Which again, and it's just like it's exhausting, and so it means that all politics gets this like weird Coomer like repressed sexual energy to it, and then like everybody's just calling each other ugly, which I mean I support. I'm very catty. I mean, not generally calling people ugly. I like to find like very specific things you can like dig into. And somebody having weird teeth is always my thing. I can always tell you like I will say like the one nitpick I have with people in terms of like looks is like I could not date somebody with bad teeth, man. I'm sorry, it just wouldn't work. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. It's just like it would distract me.
I will say, yeah, probably veneers. But it's also one of those things. I mean, I fully support veneers if you have bad teeth. But it's one of those things where it's like I feel really bad for people that do have bad teeth.
Yeah,
it's just because here's the thing: it's so visible, and at the same time, unless you have money, you just can't do anything to fix it.
Nope, you can't.
That's I feel like orthodontic care does need to be part of it.
It's incredibly expensive. Like even here in Canada,
it is insanely expensive.
Even here in Canada, listen, one of my daughters, because she's hitting that age where her teeth are going to start. Because I have twin daughters at the same age, and they're going to start losing their teeth pretty soon. I am praying that
they're in their 80s.
Yeah, I'm 140.
Yeah.
No, they're going to start getting their adult teeth. Their baby teeth are going to start falling out. And one of my daughters, she has a very nice smile, but she has no gaps between her teeth. And so when the larger teeth come in, like they're going to get crowded. So I'm just praying that the orthodontic bill is not too high, or at least like within the range of affordability, because I don't want to have my kids walking around with bad teeth, you know?
Yeah, and it's the nice thing now about orthodontics. The one thing that Smile Direct Club. Oh, they're now in Chapter 11, but with a lot of those companies, they did lower the cost of like very light dental care. Like for example, I think last year I actually got Smile Direct Club. I think it was like $1,000 and like 1.5K or something, and it was just because I had braces when I was a kid, but I hadn't worn a retainer in a few years. So my teeth had started to shift, unfortunately. So it's not as bad as it used to be, because back in the day, like it actually required you going into a like full on like orthodontic office. It was super expensive, even for like minor touch up stuff like that. You know what I mean? And now with Invisalign, the cost has been brought down. But yeah, dude, I just couldn't do it, man. I'm sorry. Like it's tough. And I don't know if I have good teeth, but I'm very fastidious about my teeth.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Like I floss sometimes I floss like twice a day.
Yeah, I floss at morning and at night, and
you're only supposed to do it once.
I know. And here's the thing, like over the course of a day, like just from eating, like the gaps in your teeth, like the minor like spaces in your teeth, they will start becoming filled by food particles. Not as if like you have like corn in your teeth or something. It's just like the act of masticating food before swallowing it will start to fill the gaps in. I feel like if I cannot feel those minor gaps between my teeth, and I'll run my tongue across the back of my teeth. If I can't feel them, I floss.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that everybody's like, oh, would you rather live in medieval Europe or like the Middle East in the Middle Ages? And I'm going to be honest, the one thing that does kind of Europeans actually had much better teeth than people in the Middle East. That's the one thing.
Are they?
Yeah, because of the dust.
The dust?
Yeah, dust like gets into the food and stuff. So when you're chewing on things,
okay.
yeah,
But that's why they always walked around with those like teeth cleaning sticks.
even then, it would wear down the enamel on your teeth. So like like one of the reasons they think that Muslim like medicine moved so far moved forward is because people would get like they would be in really serious pain. The Egyptians were the same. Like tooth abscesses were like super common in the Middle East. There still are to a certain extent, but like because things aren't really prepared outdoors anymore. But the one nice thing about Europe is that you didn't have to deal with that because there wasn't any dust in the air, which is nice. You know, that's a benefit. You know, you don't get the metropolitan aspect, and obviously it's cold, but hey, you know, you don't have to deal with horrible tooth damage, which is nice. I gotta be honest, I feel like the Middle Ages just sucked for everyone.
The Middle Ages were not fun for anyone at all.
Anyone.
No one was having a good time.
Nobody was having fun back then. Like that's basically like there's like 3 different time periods, right? There's
and then like the late Middle Ages when they had that like mini ice age, like it was just capping off what was already a pretty wretched era.
Yeah, and like the Middle East, like people are like, oh, it was like the Arab golden age, but it wasn't even that great. Like back even then, like it just kind of
like relative to everybody else.
Here's the thing: there's like 4. There's like really 4 time periods. There's like now. There's like the 50s times, 50s to the 70s times, which were pretty good. There's World War II.
I'm just looking at my dental coverage. So it's routine of 2,000 per calendar year for dental coverage. So like if you
welcome viewer to Dental Time. Welcome to the Insurance Adjustment Hour, boys. We're talking a little bit about. Are we talking Aetna? Are we talking the Cigna crew is in the fucking house, dude. They're in the cut. We're gonna be talking about how the best way to maximize your HSA and your deductible.
Let me tell you all about Kaiser Permanente.
Kaiser Permanente.
No, okay, so I guess like routine coverage is like 2,000 per calendar year. I can't even find what orthodontics is, but I think there's probably like a maximum of like somewhere around 5K, but whatever.
To be honest, I would be surprised if they even included it. In the US, it's not usually included.
Yeah. No, my plan, like
does it? Yeah.
My insurance, no, not the provincial plan. The provincial plan doesn't cover dental at all. It's my private insurance plan.
Ooh.
Yeah, from work. That covers that.
The provincial plan.
No, like the like the public healthcare plan. Yeah, it does not cover prescription drugs unless if you're under 25, it will under your parents' like provincial public insurance plan, or if you're a senior. But if you're of like working age from like 25 to 65, you're on your own. Oh, hang on. There was one thing I did want to show you though, just on the topic of like there just being way too much Coomer vibes. You know who actually I think is making progress in this area, like stemming the Coomer army?
Saudi Arabia? Well,
Dubai, yeah, the UAE.
Oh, what do they do?
Hang on a second. Somebody made a TikTok, things that you have to know about going to Dubai. And the amount of people that I saw saying, yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go to Dubai. It actually kind of gave me a little bit of hope. I was like, we could just do that same shit here. Holy smokes.
Yeah, but see, all right,
hang on.
What up, y'all? If you plan on traveling to Dubai, here are 5 laws you must know. Number 1, public display of affection. So if you're feeling frisky, you should avoid crowded places and public parks, or you can get jail time. Number 2, swearing or using offensive language. This can get you up to 3 years of jail time. Number 3, eating, drinking, or smoking in public during Ramadan. During Ramadan, Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset. So if you get caught eating that kale, you can go to jail. Number 4, gossiping. Anybody that makes false statements that can affect somebody's character or finances can face up to 2 years of jail time. Number 5, taking photos of individuals without getting their permission. This can also include somebody's car and pet. You can get up to 5 years of jail time. But Dubai is still one of my favorite places in the world. Just make sure that you know the laws and follow
I'm going to Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay, but I am a little weird.
This turned my whole opinion about Dubai around a full 180.
Wait, one question though. Did he say during Ramadan you can't smoke in public?
You can't eat, drink, or smoke in public.
Wait, is that
during fasting times?
Oh, so does fasting include smoking?
You can't even drink water, and it includes everything.
Oh, so just
like in the morning. No, in
Not
the morning.
hitting that vape, bro.
Yeah, well, smoking is you are consuming a cigarette, or a vape.
Yeah.
So yes, that counts as consumption. So it would not be allowed during
Did
Ramadan.
you do coke during Ramadan? No, dude, I'm not digesting it, bro. It's in my nose, dude.
No, that's why like suhoor is so like the morning. So during Ramadan, the morning breakfast before you start your fasting is called suhoor. So you have to eat before the sun rises, and you can't drink water. But that's why the breakfasts are so dense.
Is there
And cocaine.
Like a Muslim girl named like Suhor? They're like a model in. That's like if you hook up with like an IG model in Dubai during, it's called taking a Suhor.
Listen, Rory, when you snort cocaine, it drips down into the back of your throat. So yes, you are technically consuming the cocaine.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. Although, like, if you have a cold, although to be honest, like, if you have like a cold during Ramadan, like, I feel like that can't count. Like, you can't like.
But then, how would you snort it? What would you do?
Yeah, you wouldn't be snorting.
You have a cold, so how could you snort it?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if you have like a cold during Ramadan, you're like, sucking.
Oh, like the mucus.
I'm just saying, like, look.
I don't know, dog. You spit it out. I don't know.
The Jains go through all the trouble of like walking around, brushing the bugs out of their way so they avoid like stepping on them. I'm just saying, like, if you really want to be hardcore about this, like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess like.
The jail time for taking photos of people without their permission, I am
oh my gosh.
behind
Every
that one.
IG gym influencer would just be in maximum lockup. Just put them in Rikers.
I don't believe that they really enforce the PDA one because I know a lot of Italian people that are in Dubai. And like, that's literally like that is like anti-Italian discrimination. Dude, those people
no, hold on. Muslim men kiss each other on the cheek as well.
That's not really okay. That's not really PD. That's more like a greeting. Like when French people like do the thing. That's not like you're not really doing it. Like I guess it is technically a public display of affection, but it's not really.
I think what they mean is like you can't be snogging on your girlfriend in public.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Italian people love PDA.
No, I hate that. I'm assuming that they have to restrain themselves. I fucking hate that.
I guess they would have to. Well, I mean, because here's the thing: Dubai is like the most plastic city in the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. There's no grit to it. It's all just. I mean, literally, there's grit.
No, it's like if you were to build a city in The Sims, that would be Dubai.
I would feel weird doing PDA in Dubai. It's like, no, like my job is to like be in The Sims. Like I should just stand here like the Trump family when they're on stage, where they just kind of like it just looks like their subroutines have like timed out and they're all just like standing at their sides. Like that's what you do in Dubai. Like that and like work out and do like drop shipping scams. Like those are the three things like. Which honestly, I should just go to Dubai. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I would have a good time there. I don't know. I'm totally on board.
I think that is a Volcel's paradise.
No, I mean it's just like me, who's just like deeply, deeply angry with everything all the time.
Yeah.
Like I just but here's the problem. It's like the trouble is like it's like I'm actually okay with PD. Well, I'm not really okay with PDA in public. It's annoying, but like I can at least turn away. It's when it's like I'm trying to like read a book, or like browse the internet like a normal person, and like I'd like to read a news story, and it's just like, look, it's the hottest IDF girls. Like fuck off. Stop with this shit. Cut it out. None of that. I don't want to see it. I want a porno-free. Like, here's the thing. It needs to be like separated. It's like no.
I was gonna say they need to have like how in some cities they'll have separated roads for transport trucks versus passenger vehicles. I think there needs to be an internet like that. Like you can choose which internet you want to be on. Do you want to be on like the Coomer internet or do you want to be on the regular people internet? Yeah, I feel like I need an off ramp for the regular people internet, and let the Coomers just hang out with Coomers.
It's just everything now, like because it used to be like you would have.
There needs to be a blue sky for the whole internet. Like just get all the Coomers into one space by themselves.
Yeah, it was called Tumblr, and then we. No, it was like that. Literally was.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
we
what it
wanted
was.
to like.
You're right.
It was like a bunch of different, like very horny people all selling each other the same thing. It's basically like a basement swap, like a Mormon basement swap meet where they like, all sell like doTERRA products to each other. But it was just all people like trading pictures of like their ass and stuff, and then we ruined it forever.
Yahoo bought it and lost their ass on it, and yeah.
Well, yeah, they banned porno on it, which was like, why would you do that? Like
well, the funny thing was people were laughing about that, and when they announced that they were banning porn, I saw this coming a mile away. I was like, oh no, where do you think they're all gonna go? Where are they gonna end up?
They went back to Twitter. Yeah, they all showed up, and then and now Instagram. The thing that really I think caused it was OnlyFans, and like no hate to people that do OnlyFans. Like it's look,
it's not just
make money, right?
No, here's the thing: it's that it's hard to make money on the internet. People think it's easy. It's not. It is hard, and you have to be constantly self-promoting. The thing that I think is also very uniquely American in the sense that you can't create a separate identity for yourself. Which I mean, for people that do OnlyFans, I usually say like, hey, listen, if you're gonna do that, just create a completely separate identity and don't try to mix it in with your politics. It just never. Not only does it work, it basically waters down both, But people they're just like, they're trying to do politics and culture and smut at the same time, and it's ruining all three. Listen, if you're trying to get a nut off, you don't want to hear about somebody's thoughts on fucking the Gaza Strip. You don't know what they think about like the genocide in Myanmar. Nobody wants to hear about that. You're trying to get a nut off. At the same time, if I'm reading about what's happening in Ukraine, I'm sorry, I don't want to see your asshole. I just don't.
I will say it's so funny. Like, shout out to everyone. But I will say one thing, like you either do that or you just have to be an insane person like Ayala. Shout out to the girl. She rules.
Yeah.
The one that was going back to the beginning of the show with Richard Hanania. Oh man, can you find that tweet? Was
she the same one that said like, is it actually unethical to eat somebody with Down syndrome?
Dude, she rules. I love her. I'm gonna be honest. I actually find her very entertaining. And she's
a fucking weirdo dog.
She's so insane. But that's the thing. You have to be an insane person. Like to run to be that kind of person. Like you just have to be insane. Like there's no way around it. Like that's about it. So yeah, like Ayala, she rules, dude. Like she's great. Let me see if I can find. I actually took a screenshot of it, and I need to find it.
Or we can skip it.
Yeah, we can skip it because
we can skip it.
Yeah. All right. Well,
we're also running up on the 2-hour mark.
Yep,
so
we are.
We can probably leave it off here.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks everybody for coming through, and we'll be back on Wednesday.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, Wednesday, same time, same channel. See you all soon. Peace.
See you then. Bye.